Okay, so
We're trying to.
we're recording.
move in a
Wait,
little bit.
are we? Yeah, are we the Mount Rushmore?
Is this
Okay,
getting
come on.
cut? Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely not. Hey guys,
Oh, boy.
this is
Happy
we're
Friday.
back. Happy Friday, and what a kick-ass week we had here. We got a really special
Yeah.
guest. This is my, I was gonna
Old
say
friend.
old friend,
Well,
but he's a friend.
Yeah.
Who is old. No, wait, a friend who I've known a long time.
yeah, that's better.
Larry Confino. Larry,
Hey, everybody, it's great to be here at Veridian.
who the hell are you, Larry?
Okay.
Why are you here, Larry?
So I am here because I decided that I needed to do a short documentary about what Veridian is doing and accomplishing. I've been producing a series called 50 States of Sustainability that's airing nationally on public television stations across the U.S. And we're just trying to tell stories about innovation and hopeful stories so that people out in the world don't feel like it's all about doom and gloom and related to
Yeah, we were
innovation.
talking about that, right? Like
Yeah.
the biggest threat right now is doomism, right? That people just
Yeah.
thinking they've lost faith. They've got nothing.
No hope.
Yeah, like the guy. Remember, I was telling you that I went to Ace Hardware, and it was just when all the wildfires were here, and the smoke was filled with the sky was filled with smoke. And I asked this probably 18-year-old, and I said, how you doing? And he's like, well, we're living in an apocalyptic hellhole, but other than that, everything's great. And I was like, oh no, man, you're too young for that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's too early to be that pessimistic.
So the show is really about solutions
Yeah.
rather than
Just
what's
harping on the
going wrong.
problem.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Right. So
Um,
there's perfect alignment, I think, with what we're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish here at Veridian.
Yeah.
So
So we wanted to talk a little bit about this, this documentary. Again, it's 50 States of Sustainability. Season 1 is airing on PBS stations across the country. And season 2 is coming out when?
probably right before Earth Day, probably
Oh, cool.
mid-March will be the release of season 2.
Ooh,
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
around the time our first homes are going to be done.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll have a watch party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously.
Love watch party.
Excellent.
Oh, that'd be really
With
cool.
all our
There
viewers.
you go.
So, the crew's here all day yesterday filming. They were here today doing some B-roll, getting shots of the site, doing some drone footage, which is going to look really cool. We're going to show you some of the roads. You want to give a quick little update, and we'll talk more about
On what's been
documentary?
happening this week.
Yeah.
So I was gone all last week on a vacation, and I came back to the site. And
We do that sometimes.
Yeah, well, it was a trip, but yes. Came back to the site and could not believe everything that had gotten
Yeah.
done. We've gotten more basements dug and more footings poured, and most of the roadway has been completed, and they're pouring the sidewalk that never existed before along the west side of Platte.
Yeah.
So we're going to have that connectivity, from County Farm Park continuing all the way down to Huron Parkway, which is awesome. Sidewalk gaps are annoying for pedestrians, and so we're filling that.
Yeah, and we show that if you saw the podcast from last week, which was the little video tour going around the site. I showed you that little area that goes around the trees where the bikes are going to be able to come off of Platte Road, go around the bur oak trees and into Veridian, rather than having to fight with the cars there on Platte Road at that intersection.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
that'll be huge. That's
Yeah,
what
and if
really
you saw that
needs
video last week, again, it was amazing how much was in that video than the previous couple of weeks. We have to do another video like that because there's that much that was accomplished last week. I think we've done again.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
moving
good.
fast.
I like to see this. I like to see this progress.
Yeah.
I should leave more often. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
No.
Also this week we found we have this, we've talked about this. We have these existing honey locust trees that are in the middle of the
Found
site.
a mastodon.
We found a baby honey locust with these cute little red spikes
Yeah.
to protect it from mastodons.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Right
We
now,
should post a
the best
picture
it's
of it on
doing is
Instagram.
protecting itself from deer. But
Yeah,
we should definitely post those. Yeah,
very
it's
cute.
really cute.
I've
And
never seen anything that cute.
as a reminder, the honey locust used to spread its seeds from. Did we ever tell you the story? Super cool. So it has these giant spikes, these like 6-inch long spikes on the native honey locust trees, which we have here in this grove and then over in the center. And they can be this long, and they were adapted to prevent mastodon from gnawing on the bark. So the acacia tree in Africa, where the African elephant lives, has the same adaptation. Totally unrelated tree, but similar natural design. It's pretty cool.
Ancient tree.
Yeah. And yeah, so Larry, tell us about that one. I grabbed this picture real quick here. Visual aids. Look, we have a visual aid. Here is the Honey Locust farm stop. See this? We're so freaking high tech. This is so cool. Yeah. So Honey Locust farm stop. And if you look really closely, we have a mastodon as our logo on the Honey Locust farm stop. And that is one.
There you go.
And now you know that is the rest of the story. Let me just date myself with Paul Harvey there. So yeah, so Larry, why did you want to come and do put us in one of the episodes of 56 to Sustainability?
It seemed pretty clear to me that people who are working on built environments aren't thinking about the horizon. They're not thinking about the future. And when Matt told me about this project that he was working on, I thought more people need to know about this. So more people to aspire to live in this kind of a development, could be anywhere in the country. Mm-hmm. More developers, hopefully some developers will actually see the piece and they'll decide, I want to do things, mm-hmm. or at least, try to emulate some of the things that are happening at Veridian. Builders, anybody that's in this, either purchasing a home or building things, they need to know all the things that are being brought to bear on this development and really, take that to heart and try to implement it in other places. So that's, I thought, for the viewers that we think is our viewers, we think that our viewers would be real interested in learning about this. So that's why we decided to do the piece.
Yeah, and they're some of my heroes who are in some of the other episodes.
Yeah, I want to hear about some of the other episodes. I was going to ask them that. Give us examples of the other episodes.
Well, we're trying to do things that are, about specific projects like this, but we have also we're trying to do interviews with thought leaders. So we interviewed Amory Lovins in his home in Colorado, where he's growing bananas in his living room, by the way.
In Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado.
So it's from the Rocky Mountain Institute.
Yeah.
So Amory Lovins founded the Rocky Mountain Institute and is truly one of the greatest living thought leaders on climate solutions.
Absolutely. And it's all about energy savings. Like that's a big focus of his energy savings.
Hero of mine.
So, and a hero of mine. So I'm like, look at that, I show up with a camera, I get to spend a day with the guy and really learn a tremendous amount, way beyond what we actually could put in the episode. So they have a segment in the first 10 episodes that it's not in every episode that we're calling the bigger picture, because they're presenting more conceptual kinds of ideas. And we realized that works really well. So we're going to be interviewing Paul Hawken in Mill Valley in his home. We're going to go to his house now and interview him for a day.
Paul Hawken is author of The Ecology of Commerce back in the 90s and Regeneration recently and
Drawdown.
Probably
the most famous book.
And it's an essential read right now. It's Drawdown, and they're updating it periodically, and it's part of Project Drawdown, which is now led by Jonathan Foley, who's actually just gave a TED Talk, along with Paul Hawken also gave a TED Talk.
Right.
And Paul was right behind me when I was doing a question. It was up on the big screen. So that was my claim to fame. It's like I was on the big screen at a TED conference with Paul Hawken over my shoulder.
And now I'm going to get you an autograph.
That's right.
Maybe he has a headshot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And we're like 6 degrees because we're, I was telling you the story. We called our net zero home the Mission Zero house. And the reason for that was because there was a CEO, Ray Anderson of Interface Carpets. He realized that he was becoming a plunderer of the earth with his multinational flooring company. And so he set his company out on this task for Mission Zero. And back in 1994, I think it was when they started Mission Zero, was to make them the first multinational company to achieve net zero energy. This was 1994.
Yeah.
Right. But it was in that year where this woman, Joyce Laval, had talked to Paul and said, talked to Ray and said, you got to read this book called The Ecology of Commerce by Paul Hawken. And he read that book. And I had read that book when I was in law school when it came out. And it kind of really eye-opening about what that was. And so in a way, Paul Hawken is responsible for Veridian.
Oh, wow. And I'll have to tell him that when I see him.
It is.
Um,
We all influence each other's work.
Yeah.
I just heard this great thing the other day about like the impact of each of our individual works, and you think that you're not having an impact. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like some sort of it was some sort of protest at the White House, and I think it was about like chemicals in children's bodies back in the 60s or 70s, and these 6 women went and protested in the rain in front of the White House. You got to get these chemicals out. You're poisoning children. Nobody was listening to them. And she said, I just remember feeling so incredibly foolish. And then years later, she heard an interview with Dr. Benjamin Spock, who was responsible for starting to raise the alarm about chemicals that were entering the womb, that they're finding in breast milk and everything else. And he said that what motivated him was he drove by the White House in the rain and he saw these 6 women sitting there, and she didn't think she had an impact. And years later, she heard that story.
Wow.
And to me, that was like amazing. It's like you don't know what you're influencing. I thought that was really cool.
That's very cool.
So,
So you try to be an influencer no matter what,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
even if it's completely foolish
so
at the time.
So we're gonna head out tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Where are you going?
Where are we going?
Where are you going?
Well, we are going to first to one of the vendors. We're going to go to
Turn
Snowbelt
around.
Hardwoods.
This is it.
That's
Okay, so
Arborwood.
there you go. That's Arborwood.
Yeah.
This is
So first
Arborwood.
we're going to Snowbelt
That's the floor.
Hardwoods. That's the flooring,
It's our flooring.
and then
It's really high
and then
tech.
we're going to travel to Arborwood in Duluth, Minnesota. We're going to be doing some interviews there. And then you're going to fly back.
I can see that.
You're going to fly back, and I'm going to continue to stay
6
in
days,
Minnesota.
3 states, 2 peninsulas.
Yeah, and we might get a little fishing and a little sightseeing.
Yeah.
In the middle of that.
Yeah,
Give
we've
Matt a
talked
little
about
bit
this
of
before.
vacation.
If you've heard Sarah and I talk about that, what is FSC wood? What is Forest Stewardship Council wood? And we kind of shorthand it with, it's like, well, it's a forest that stays intact. It's harvesting wood in a healthy, sustainable way. So that the forest is a place you can still enjoy. You can still go hiking in there. You can still fish or hunt. And it's a true forest instead of just clear cutting things. And
So we're not theorizing. We're actually going there.
yeah.
We're actually going to go there and
Yeah.
see what they're doing, and that'll be a part of the piece.
And talking about a lot of the materials and things like that.
Awesome.
So what'd you learn here?
But
Anything surprise you about Veridian? You said to me this morning, you made me cry when you told me. Just kind of took a pause.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll be an emotional guy for 2 seconds here.
Okay.
No,
now that the Barbie movie is
Okay.
out,
No,
We're
I'm
allowed
not
to-
afraid. My kids will tell you I'll cry. I cry at commercials, so like I'm not exactly afraid to cry. But what I can say is my old friend here, Matt, and he's not old, or at least not as old as me. We've known each other for a really long time, and I have to say, aside from doing this because I think it's good television, I'm just really proud of the effort here, and that's it kind of hit me this morning when we talked about it. So I'm proud of the work that Sarah and Matt are doing.
yeah,
And, I'm just happy to be able to kind of magnify their work and let other people know about it.
yeah, and it's
And
just
that's it. I
incredible.
didn't cry, sorry.
And it's like, no, and it's great because I'm getting emotional thinking about it because you stood out here and you were like, you heard about this for so long, but then you stand
Yeah.
out here and you see the work that's going on, and you see the work that Sarah and John and Dave and Joey and Nick and the entire team have like, you see it happening.
Yeah.
And we're doing it. I
It's
mean, we're worlds
happening.
away from when the TED delegation was out here about 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
We're doing it. So thank you for doing this documentary. Thank you for your
My
optimism.
pleasure.
Thanks for making us look good.
Thank you
Hopefully.
for just forcing us to not talk about the doom and gloom stuff and talk about real scalable solutions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll see you.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna go to get
That's
to
it for
sleep
this
because
week.
he's coming to pick me up at 7 a.m.
They hit the road. Drive for 10 hours to.
And we're good
It's gone.
until next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do a little update next week because you'll be gone.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do one. We'll do it from the road. We can do it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned for whatever we
Oh,
do
that's
next
right.
week.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we have from Snowbelt or from the
Oh, yeah.
woods or somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
Somewhere
we
where
were in
there's
the
probably-
forest with the forester. at
Where there's going to be
Snowbelt.
great cell service.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much. More soon.
Hope you guys have
And-
power. I
yeah.
don't.
and yeah. Yeah. All right, and we're gonna be bringing you buyers in pretty soon. Start looking at materials and
Yeah,
making
really
selections. It's happening.
I know
It's,
I've said that like a million times, but for real.
this time it's real.
We're getting
Um,
tile boards next week to be able to actually, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
From,
you know, the whole hurry up and wait thing. It's gonna be hurry up time very soon.
yeah.
See you guys till next week. Bye bye.
Bye.